Hello and good evening students, and welcome to today's daily quiz presented to you by BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Now just a tip that before you see the solution, pause the screen and try to solve the question on your own. So we'll start with the first question. Identify the correct statements. The central sector schemes are entirely funded by the central government. The centrally sponsored schemes are entirely funded by the central government but implemented by the state governments. The Niti Aayog has the authority to conduct evaluation of both of the above schemes. Now, India has three types of schemes. We have central sector schemes, we have centrally sponsored schemes, and we have the state schemes. Now, let us see why we have taken this question. In the Parliament of India, an information was given by the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs regarding the success for Amrit scheme. Therein he said that the Amrit scheme, Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, which was launched in June 2015 and was later subsumed under Amrit 2.0, it has shown very satisfactory results when it came to third-party evaluation of the scheme by Niti Aayog. Now this is a centrally sponsored scheme and this was evaluated by the Niti Aayog. So centrally sponsored schemes are those which are sponsored by the center. Center is not providing the entire funding, but they are providing a part of the funding for these schemes. However, there are certain core centrally sponsored schemes for which 100% funding is done by the center. However, generally for the centrally sponsored schemes, a part of the funding is done by the states as well. However, the 100% implementation of the scheme is the responsibility of the state governments. Then we have the central sector schemes. Now these schemes, they are 100% funded by the center. And these schemes too can be evaluated by the Niti Aayog, as you can see in this official letter that was issued regarding the third party evaluation of central sector schemes of Department of Expenditure by the Niti Aayog. Now Niti Aayog has an independent attached office known as DMEO. That is Development Monitoring and Evaluation Office. Now this office, because the name has the word evaluation as well, it monitors as well as evaluates both the central sector and the centrally sponsored schemes in the country. So out of these, this is a correct statement. Yes, central sector schemes are 100% funded by the central government. This is also correct that Niti Aayog evaluate both central sector schemes and centrally sponsored schemes. However, this is incorrect. Only certain centrally sponsored schemes are 100% funded by the center, whereas the rest of them, they have a partial funding by the center and partial by the state. So out of these, 1 and 3 are correct and our correct answer is C. Now the next question is about Interpol notices. Which of the following of these notices are correctly matched with the purpose why they are released? Red notice for wanted persons, purple notice for modus operandi, green notice for additional information, and blue notice for unidentified bodies. Now the notices that are released by the Interpol, they are released in order to request for the cooperation or alerts that will allow the police in the member countries to share critical information with each other. They are issued by the General Secretariat of the Interpol on the request of a member country's Interpol National Central Bureau and are made available for all the member countries to consult in notices database. Now there are a few type of notices that are released by Interpol, including red notice, yellow, blue, black, green, orange, purple, and a special Interpol UNSC special notice. So there are 8 type of notices, and why this is in news, because the Interpol red corner notice that was released against Mehul Choksi, who has allegations on him regarding bank frauds, they have been withdrawn. This withdrawal was done because according to Interpol, there is a possibility that if Mehul Choksi comes to India, he might not be able to experience a fair trial. So let us see over here. This is correct. Yes, red notice is released for wanted persons to seek the location and arrest of persons wanted for prosecution or to serve a sentence. Then the purple notice, it is to seek or provide information on modus operandi, that is mode of operation of any criminal groups, of any criminal person, and also regarding objects, devices and concealment methods that might be used by those criminals. So this is also correct. Then the green notice, it is to provide warning about a person's criminal activities where the person is considered to be a possible threat to public safety. For additional information, it is not the green notice but the blue notice that is released to collect additional information about a person's identity, location or activities in relation to a criminal investigation. So this will also be incorrect. For unidentified bodies, a black corner notice, it is released. Usually black color is associated with death, right? So that is why black corner notice, it is released for unidentified bodies to seek information on them. So out of these, only 1 and 2 are correct and our correct answer is A. The next question is, what do you understand by LVM-3, which has been in news recently? It is a light aircraft recently developed by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It is a low Earth orbit satellite of India. It is a geosynchronous launch vehicle of the country. It is a fungal enzyme discovered recently that helps in degradation of plastics. Now LVM, it is in news for various reasons. One is that LVM, which was previously known as GSLV Mk3, it is the first cryogenic launch vehicle that has been developed indigenously by India. It will also be used for the Gaganyaan mission. Now recently, it was also used to launch a fleet of 36 satellites that will help in increasing the internet connectivity of the country. Now this is a heavy lift launch vehicle developed indigenously by ISRO to achieve a 4,000 kilogram spacecraft launch capability to the geosynchronous transfer orbit. Now this is a 3-stage launch vehicle with 2 solid stages, that is solid fuel is used in these 2 stages and 1 cryogenic stage. So out of these statements, this is the correct one. It is a geosynchronous launch vehicle, also known as GSLV Mk3. The fourth question is about the TOPS scheme. Which of the following statements are incorrect? Please note, we need to mark the incorrect statement. The TOPS funding to sports persons is only for the purpose to win medals in the Olympic Games. It is given to new sports persons who have never represented India in the Olympics yet. Now please do not confuse this TOPS schemes with another TOPS scheme that is related to Operation Greens. Now this TOPS scheme is to increase the prices that the farmers get for tomato, onion and potato and to increase the value addition services in case of these vegetables. This TOPS schemes, it is by the Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs known as the Target Olympic Podium Scheme. Now this scheme was released in 2014 and further revamped in the year 2018 in order to provide the funding to various sports persons so that they can gain medals not just in Olympics but also in the Asian Games, and also such funding is provided for Paralympics. That is the Olympic Games of the para athletes. Now please note that it has been declared that TOPS, the scheme, will support Neeraj Chopra as well. Now we know that Neeraj Chopra was the first Indian to have received a gold medal in the athletics in Olympics. So that means that this scheme is not just for new sports persons but also those who have already represented India in the Olympics earlier as well. So out of these, this is a wrong statement. It is not only for Olympic Games, it is also for Asian Games and Paralympics. Now again, I'll say that whenever you see the word only, please become suspicious of the option. This will also be incorrect because it is not given only to the new sports persons but also the ones who have already represented India at an international level. So out of these, the correct answer over here is C. The PYQ is from modern history. Which of the following statements correctly explain the impact of the Industrial Revolution on India during the first half of the 19th century? Please note that we have to tell about first half of the 19th century. The options are: Indian handicrafts were ruined, machines were introduced in Indian textile industry in large numbers, railway lines were laid in many parts of the country, heavy duties were imposed on imports of British manufacturers. Now, if you note clearly that it is about first half of 19th century, that is from 1800 to 1850. Now we know that the first railway came in the year 1853 from Mumbai to Thane. Even the first Indian textile industry, it came in the later half, not in the first half of the 19th century. So these two options, they cannot be correct. Moreover, why would British want to impose duties on British manufacturers? The main aim of British was drain the wealth of India and send it back to the United Kingdom. So this will definitely will not be correct. So by the elimination method itself, you will be able to say that option A is the correct one. That is, Indian handicrafts, they were completely ruined. Now we come to the fact of the day, which is about extended producer responsibility. According to a report, the extended producer responsibility for the year 2022-23 now covers 2.32 million tons of plastic packaging. Now, extended producer responsibility, it is a very important concept, especially when it comes to waste management. If a company is producing plastics, or if they are producing any packaging material, then there are a few steps that they need to follow. They need to design and construct that particular product. They need to produce it, and for production they need to procure the material from the various other producers. Then they'll distribute it, and finally these products will be utilized at other places. Now, when we include EPR in case of waste management, it ensures that because the producer will be responsible not just for the production and distribution of the materials, they will also be responsible for waste management of the material. They will make sure that they design and construct the material in such a way that it becomes easy to recycle. So that ensures that from the starting itself, the waste management principles, they are consciously adopted. Now in India, the EPR principles, they are related not just for the plastic waste, but also in the case of e-waste, that is the electronic waste, like mobile phones, like computers, USB cables, and so on. So this information is not just important for your prelims exam, but will also be extremely useful for your mains exam as well. So with that, we come to an end to today's daily quiz. I hope you were able to understand all the concepts dealt over here. So do not forget to tell us in the comments how many questions were you able to answer correctly. Thank you very much and have a very good day ahead.